All right, welcome back. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to demonstrate how to add age to your character. Um, I'm going to go with a pretty iconic character, Logan. And basically what we're going to do is, I've already done a quick outline. I've already erased it. So I have a ghost of a sketch left. So I'm going to sketch this really quickly. But as I do, I'm going to keep in mind that Logan is an older character, and we want to make him look a little bit withered, a little worn and torn, a little rough around the edges. He also has these massive sideburns and messy hair, so I think this is a good opportunity to demonstrate how to render a three-quarter headshot. So, with that said, let's move. So what I'll do here is I'll probably end up starting with his eyes. And the reason I do this is because the eyes kind of bring or give a little bit of life to the character. So, and I'm going to be doing this really quickly. Really, because this isn't about how to draw a headshot, it's about how to render a character. So, let's just quickly sketch in the details of Wolverine or Logan's face. All right. And as you can see, I'm not adding too much detail at this point. I'm going to give him kind of a square chin here. Pop this into the jawline. Now, I'm not drawing in his facial hair yet. I'm just placing everything. And once I get everything in its proper, proportionally in its proper place, then I'll start my rendering. So there you go. Very, very quick and easy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to transform this into an older, worn and torn Logan character. So what I would start with now is, I would establish a light source. So in this case, I'm going to put the light source, I'm going to put it up here in this area. Okay, so we have a little, imagine this is the sun, the little beams coming out. Okay, so we know that the light source is coming from the above, his above, or our above right, his above left. And so with that said, let's go ahead and render in his hair. And again, we're doing this really, really quickly. It's going to be messy. All right. And I'm going to create a little bit of musculature on his neck. And again, now it's time to go in for the details. And again, this is just a really quick sketch. So here we go. We're going to dive in. So being that the light source is coming from up here, let's start finding and casting our shadows. So we know that underneath the brow, it's going to be a cast shadow because there's no light underneath. The light's coming basically from above left or above right, however you want to look at it. We're going to cast shadow under his nose. We're even going to go to this side of the nose, cast some shadow. Now I'm really doing this fast just because I want to capture this as quickly as I can. You can always make changes, add to, take away from, Also under the ear here, make sure you put a little shadow inside the ear, underneath the ear. And then what we're going to do is on this side, the side that's furthest away from the light, we're just going to shade in the hair. Now we're not going to show individual strands or anything like that. Now we might start curling some off like this just to make it look messy. And then we'll add a little bit of hair on his chin, a little stubble. And then right here, I'm going to shade it in. I'm going to create some brow lines too. So on every line that you add to the character adds years to their life. You know, it looks more rugged. So let's just keep adding some lines. I'm going to put in a little snarl line here. And see, these lines make him look a little bit more aged. And then here on the hair, I'm just going to fill all this in. And then we're going to thicken up his eyebrows. So, you know, notice that I tilt my paper a lot because I always want to draw at the angle that I'm comfortable with. Because the more comfortable you are with your line work, the better it's going to turn out in the end. So don't be too rigid in your, you know, a lot of people tape their art to their table and that's it. That might work when you're doing perspective or anything that involves, you know, ruler work and stuff like that, where you don't want your paper to move. But when it comes to rendering characters and faces, I don't know, for me, I like to be able to move this paper around as much as I can, just because it keeps it alive for me. Now I'm just going to add some lines like this here. Same thing over here. Now there's no rhyme or reason. I mean, honestly, you can make up any type of line you want, whether it be completely shaded in. You can even crosshatch here. I'm not going to crosshatch yet because I'm going to try and keep this as simplified as possible. Now I'm going to keep adding some details for his chin, like the stubble. And honestly, this is really, really easy. I mean, once you start getting in the hang of this, it becomes kind of second nature. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cast shadow underneath his chin and just shade this in. And for his neck, I'm going to add some more hairs like this because he's very, very hairy, even on this area over here. These little things, they speak to your subconscious mind. They let you know that this is a hairy dude. You don't want to mess with these hairy dudes. All right. We're just kind of making this up as we go along. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working on his sideburns over here. So I'm basically just going to keep it simple and just shade it in like this. Now I can come back in with my eraser and do some work. You know, erase it, redraw in some hair. I might do that just to show you an example. Let's see. First, let's just shade all this in. By the way, I'm in Thailand right now, and there's a lot of different types of birds, so you might hear them in the background. Okay. So what I want to do is shade underneath here, and then break up our lines a little bit like this. So when you're trying to create sheen on here, all you have to do is keep the lines consistent like this, and then just break up, add a little gap of space in between, and all it does is, once you're consistent, it gives the illusion of a sheen, of, you know, of like somewhat of hair. And this is just a comic book trick. And let's see here. I'm gonna pull this back. So there's a quick little rendition of how to age a character. I might add a couple more lines here. All right. And there we go. Now if we wanted to get a little bit more precise, or mess around with the hair, we can just come out here and just do some eraser marks. And kind of mess around with it a little bit more. This is not necessary, it's just kind of aesthetic kind of stuff. So you erase and you can draw more in. Now you can kind of fine tune your hair. Again, we're doing this really fast. All right. So what I'll end up doing here is I'm going to make this a little bit messier. So I'll just add some points here like this. There you go. It's got a little bit messier. And do some shading here. There you go. All right, now with the mouth, if you want to do a little bit more detail in the mouth, you can come up here, draw kind of an upper lip, shade that part in because the light source is coming from above. And all right, I think that's good. So let's try another character. So what I'll do is I'll come back with another video, and maybe we'll do a younger looking character. All right, hope this helped. I'll talk to you in a minute.